We are live, Lux. You can do the intro in a moment. Well, Neil, I've seen him in the back in the green room looking in various different locations. I'm assuming we are now live in lots of different places. I
Thank you
believe
for
we are.
checking that out. We are? Oh, beautiful. Okay. Hey, welcome everyone to yet another week. As you can see, we are growing quite literally because if you followed previous episodes of this show, we are usually four people and now we are five. And if you follow the progression, pretty much soon you're going to have a Zoom gallery over here. That's the direction we're heading in. But this is super because usually we'd rotate and one of us would sit out and be in the Zoom room. And we're also doing this, Tatiana, if you're watching, we're looking forward to having you next week. So no pressure. You're going to dictate the flow of the show. You talked about back to school. Ah, there she is. Whoa. Okay. So Tatiana's been on the road quite a bit, and I'm not going to steal her thunder. She's going to tell us everything that she's been doing. Tatiana, please come prepared with photographs. I loved the ones you shared with me, and I'm sure our audience will as well. So next week we're going to have her on the show too. And in preparation for that, we thought we would experiment with the five people format. Quick introductions around the table. So I'm Lux Narayan, co-founder and CEO here at StreamAlive. And the fine folks here in the room with me are people I met through the StreamAlive journey who do things adjacent, related, and their own very, very cool things. And we're going to be talking about a lot of those cool things today. So in no particular order, except right next to me, Neil, over to you.
Hi, I'm Neil Farrimond, video producer. I work with Martin McKenna and the Creative Amplifiers team on all things video production, live streaming, and fun stuff like that. Also, I build the occasional app.
Which you're going to share with us today, I believe.
I believe Martin's got something cooking later.
Super. Martin, did you want to go next?
Okay, I'll go next, being as it's a random order in that case. So yeah, I do a lot of live streams with Neil on all sorts of different stuff. We also work together to produce some IT-based shows. So I have a show called Talk IT, which is very interesting if you're into particular elements of IT, like IT service management, and incredibly boring if you're not. So most people watching this don't bother tuning in, other than to watch the layout and to see something totally different in terms of look and feel from your average Zoom call. Said.
Yeah, hello everyone, this is Said from Germany, and I hate introductions. This was a quick fun fact. And I work mostly in online meetings, so not a real live streamer, but using all the techniques and all the bells and whistles you know from live streamers in Zoom and other online platforms. So yeah, that's me, and I think handing over to John.
And I'm John, a retired professor, failing retirement. During my active teaching days, I did primarily online and distance learning and did that pre-COVID. During COVID, I helped a lot of my fellow faculty get online and do their online courses. And in my failed retirement, I worked very closely with the California State Parks that do over 3,000 video electronic field trips, among other things. And I am in beautiful Monterey, and we do have an international group here, which is very fun.
Fascinating. John, I want a copy of your dictionary and see what it means for the word retirement in your dictionary, because obviously you have a very different interpretation of that. Awesome. All right. Usually we kick this off with new features and things that we're cooking at StreamAlive. I thought I'd do something different here. I just wanted to pick all your brains on something that I'm seeing as a trend. And I suffer from a huge case of confirmation bias. So just want to understand if you're seeing something similar. Martin, with your permission, I'd love to share my screen and just kick it off with a few things in the area of live. And then I thought I would segue into, I know a lot of us have a lot of interesting live things cooking up in the next few weeks or this month and next month. And I'd love for each of us to talk about what we're doing live and what's coming and what's cooking as well. Sounds good?
Yep, sounds good. Share away.
All right, this messy looking screen at my end is my school classroom. So please don't judge me by my hobbies and the company I keep. But this is one of many schools I attend. I actually pay for this class, and if anyone is looking to learn the guitar and songs like Horse with No Name and Knocking on Heaven's Door with good strumming patterns, side plug for Guitar Gym Pro, who's pretty awesome at $12 a month. So this is one of the classes that I attend, and Jake, who interestingly lost a pinky finger a couple of years back, still continues to play and teach the guitar in beautiful ways. So there, Jake, I've done my plug over here. I shall share this video with you later. But Guitar Gym Pro is a school community that I'm a part of. So school, this is SKOOL for those who are unfamiliar. I think Alex Hormozy or someone launched this community platform. And please promise not to judge me, but these are my other communities that I'm a part of. There's a free school course. There's one on mobility and injury prevention, because each time I go and play football, soccer as we call it here, I end up needing this. So all kinds of different communities that I'm a part of. A lot of these are paid communities. It's pretty interesting. It's like any other community platform, but it's clean, it's easy, it's easy to see stuff. But yesterday, out of curiosity, I signed up for. I've been planning on a new workshop that I'm launching in the next 30 days around my book, Name, Place, Animal, Things. So I just wanted to explore what school would look like for a community of that kind. So I created a free school account, not as a student, but as an instructor. And this is my account. And then notice something right off the bat, very, very interesting, which is that, let me go back to if I'm in one of these communities, I can write anything and post stuff in different channels, as you can in most communities. But if I'm in the community that I anchor, which is the NPAT community, I can also go live. This was not there the last time I had seen school months ago, and maybe I missed it or not. But I obviously, if I see the word live, I have to click it. I clicked it, and there's a call and there's a webinar. The webinar is part of the higher tier. The call is part of the lower tier. If you're paying $10 a month, you get the equivalent of the ability to have a small group catch up every once in a while. Want a larger group and a webinar, you're paying about $100 a month for that and other perks. But once you join this call, it's like any browser-based meeting platform with a chat and everything. And I've been reading a lot about how school is exploding, right? So there's a lot of people, a lot of the recent communities I've joined have all been on school. And obviously, the moment I saw this, it kind of set off a light bulb. So been having conversations with the team on, hey guys, should we look at integrating with school and expanding the repertoire of places where live happens and we can support. So on the anvil is Substack, School, Beehive. I'm not sure if they have a live thing. Obviously, TikTok Live, Instagram Live, and now Twitter launched a live studio last month as well. So this is the confirmation bias part. I'm just seeing a lot of these community platforms all go down and double down on the whole live is alive kind of thesis. Is it just me? Are you folks seeing it as well? Just curious.
From my perspective, I'm definitely seeing it because, and I'll let Sai talk about his comments in a second, but I think Substack started that a while ago with, I'm a Substack community member. I have a newsletter on Substack and I post pretty regularly, and they were introducing that, I think about 6 months ago, as a beta version. Again, an inline web-based portal where you could go live. Then they basically made it a little bit difficult to start with because they didn't give you any opportunity to use the third-party tool. Then they introduced the fact that you could use RTMP keys, so then you could plug in and go live. Like we could go live right now to Substack, and if you've got a Substack community on there, then they will catch you and then be able to go live as well. So to your point about school, they've obviously introduced it. There's many platforms now, I think, really trying to pull away from just having this AI generated content and making things sort of, more real, and having that sort of view where people can actually talk to their community and get more live interaction and feedback instead of just posting. Where communities are great, and there's a lot of sort of back and forth interaction on posts, but it's much nicer, I think, to see the person who's part of that community, who's hosting that community, to actually be live and then get that sort of feedback directly and in real time from the people that are actually subscribing to it. So I am seeing it as well, but yeah, Saeed, what was your thoughts on Circle? Because you use Circle as part of your facilitation platform as well, don't you?
Yeah, we also we use Circle for our community, and I just know they have a live stream feature and webinar feature, probably the same. I don't know what the difference is, but I've actually never used it. Maybe this is just me or just us, but it's way more convenient for me to just set up something in an environment that's already established, everybody knows about, we know how to handle it, and usually it's, in my case, would be like, yeah, just have a Zoom where everybody can join, share the link, and people can join, rather than trying to figure out how to do certain things in like in a live streaming feature of a platform that is not really for live streaming, or pick YouTube and then just share the link with people. They will go there. I think people don't care if it's like inside the platform or outside, but I'm also old and grumpy, so maybe this is just me. I'm not sure we need like a live streaming feature in every single platform that's outside there, right? So yeah,
it's an interesting mix, right? I mean, I keep hearing about Substack and Behab and everyone talking about there's community, there's newsletters, and there's live, which for your community are fit for facilitation. I think you guys are active on all three. You have live sessions, you have a pretty vibrant community, and you have a newsletter that goes out as well, informing people on what's coming up live and what's happening in the community. I think everyone who's missing a piece of this is kind of plugging that in, and all three obviously go hand in hand. I don't know if I'm missing a fourth part or if it's just this trifecta, but
Well, I don't know whether it's a fourth part, but I think a lot of this happened because of COVID. The main tools that were used in higher education and somewhat in K-12, Moodle, Blackboard, Canvas, were learning management systems, and they tended to be very text-oriented. Then with COVID, Zoom became part of that, and they were integrated. And so I think they're grew out of that sort of an expectation that if you've got some sort of community, and a classroom and teaching is a community. So you talk face to face, but then you call people later, you send an email. So it's really just rounding those out. The systems that you were describing tend to be the ones that have been built around either business type opportunities, business using it themselves, or entrepreneurs who are setting up their personal courses. But the idea of having a robust communication platform that has both synchronous and asynchronous videos, has chat, has file sharing, has some sort of way of turning product in, assignments, and having some way of giving feedback to students. So I think this is going to be a part of all communities that are trying to do some sort of learning. But I'm like, yeah, the 56% of the market share for synchronous video conferencing is Zoom. So I don't have to teach them anything else. So we have lynda.com, which is now LinkedIn Learning. We have the MIT Coursera, and then you have all these, and they all tend to do the same thing. And if you're just using it at a basic level, that's fine. But when you have a platform that's more robust, that has you more options and features, then it lets you make stronger video communication. And I think that's a challenge, is standing out just like we do here. We have a beautiful set, we have a good control, we have the ability to move things in and out. And that's what makes, I think, a robust live synchronous process.
makes sense. Yeah, actually, just while we're talking on education, just a quick question for you, John. I've been surprised actually by when you see online education. So let me take a step back. There's an article this week in the New York Times about a lot of challenges in async education and online education with assessment, because everyone's, I mean, not surprisingly, using AI to answer the async quizzes, and suddenly everyone's getting 100 out of 100. And whatever filters you put in place over there, it's very difficult to figure out whether someone's been using AI or not. So they're trying to do some colleges have mentioned that the test part is now live and sync. Everything else is async. I was talking to a few educators in the last couple of months to explore opportunity for Stream Alive, and I was surprised to find that a lot of distance education is primarily async. There isn't too much of a live component. If there is, it tends to be a tick box where we need to show that we delivered a live session every week. Doesn't matter even if two people attended or one person attends it. I'm just surprised by that because I would have thought it would be a lot higher in terms of live synchronous education for the online part, but it's mostly async.
Yeah, I think it varies a great deal. Part of that's the carryover from traditional K-12 in the U.S. And college, where you get measured on seat time. It's a semester course, and it meets 3 days a week. And so I think there's a sort of assumption, well, if the course is 3 days a week and meets for 12 weeks, then that's how many hours you should be, quote, sitting in the classroom. And the asynchronous is just an extension from that classroom. It's a little bit of a sidetrack when you get in terms of the assessment, because in classes we had open book tests and you could bring your textbook there. This is not much different when you're doing asynchronous because you have the internet there. It just happens to be a really bigger textbook. For me, the issue is, do you really, what's the focus you want the students to learn? When I had a class, it was a large lecture class. It had a midterm and a final, and final was a major part of the grade. And because of the way this general lecture course was with 300 students, the final was a multiple choice and short answer. And typically that had the sort of normal bell curve. I was teaching this online with AOL, if you remember that. Right. And I sent 2 of the questions of the 100 question test to 2 or 3 people. I said, this is a gift I'm giving you. This way you'll know some of the questions. At least you'll get 2 right, and that will help you study. Well, somebody all once said, well, I've got 2, and my roommate has the other 2, so now we have 4. So the 2 weeks before the test, everybody was sending their questions back and forth, and somebody said, asked, is this cheating? Am I allowed to do this? I just watch it go back and forth. That term, we had the highest score for everybody in the class. So they were all thinking they were, quote, scamming the system or studying hard. But me as an educator, I went to my fellow faculty members and said, look how good I am. My average score for the final exam was 98%, and your guys are in the 70s and 80s. So I think the assessment is sort of if you have to say you're going to do it. The worst assessment is we have things here where you have compliance, where you have to take a course. And sometimes they say, 1 hour. We have it legislated as a state employee that I have to take a 1-hour course on security. They don't score it because if I scored poorly and I broke security, they say I wasn't trained well enough. But they meet the letter of the law by having me sit asynchronous for an hour.
Wow. Yeah, Tatiana also had a very interesting comment that Martin shared on async, which is quite fascinating. Wow. Martin, you were sharing that you and Neil are doing a lot of live sessions for clients in these months, right? Notwithstanding that it's summer in Europe.
Yeah, and it's a bit of a change of topic really entirely though to what we're doing, because we're mainly doing things on LinkedIn live. So it's a bit of a different kettle of fish and a different audience, and the people out there are not committed to take part in your university course or anything like that. So there is no guarantees that anybody will turn up or that anybody will do anything in terms of interacting with the comments. So you have to go to quite a lot of effort to get people to join in and to start interacting and things like that. And one of the ways that we're doing it is just by making things look different as well on screens. So if I just find something that perhaps, a bit of a mock-up of the type of thing that I've been doing on screen. So here we've got, imagine that's me AI me on green, well, not AI me, normal me on green screen. So one of the things we're doing is changing the format so that when I bring on my guests, rather than all of us sitting there in boxes like we are doing today, I'll be on green screen, but the talent will be a bit bigger or clearer in their own boxes, and then I can expand those boxes, or I can zoom in on Lux and then zoom in on Neil and move them around while I'm still cut out as an individual character on the screen. And these characters that are jumping up in the background are some of the ones that are to do with monochrome, which is the particular client in this instance we're working with. So we wouldn't be having them jump in all the time. That's just part of an intro. But it's to get the impact of, whoa, what's happening there? It's something we haven't seen before. And one of the things which I think is of interest is just making use of the screen space as well. Whenever I see people appearing and there's 3 or 4 of them in a row and they kind of max out the whole screen and they're all very thin and tall, I just think, why are you doing that? There's loads of screen space. Use it for something else. When we have a book, we have a margin on the book, and that's to focus you in on the text to some degree as well. So every book has a margin. So we're kind of taking the same approach with this, and I might drop comments in a different location to where people are expecting to see them, or we might do some interactive comments or something like that, or a bit of Streamer Live appearing up in the background somewhere. But it's to make it look different so that people are engaged and they come back next time, in part to see what the hell's going to happen, but hopefully for the content as well, but also that, oh, I've never seen anything quite like that before. So kind of just making a different use of the screen space and creating what I would call is a show. So we're not doing a standard Zoom call, we are producing a show for people to watch, and I think that's the difference. We're noticing on LinkedIn a lot of replays going round, so that's good. LinkedIn seemed to be, again, I've mentioned it before, kicking it back against people just generating text-based AI posts, and they're saying, well, possibly the best way around that is, as you've just mentioned in other terms really, is that live can't be cheated. If you're live, AI is not interacting there and getting in the way. So thank Talia.
Well, Martin, you sort of said at the beginning, this is different because your people are here by choice, so you have to make it interesting enough for people to show up. And I think we owe that to our students. If the students are only there because they're forced to be there and be bored in the background, and when you're live and face to face in a classroom, breathing the same air, there's lots of social norms. People at least think they should be looking at you in front of the classroom, and there's sort of peer pressure because you can see next to each other. But when you're in a group like this, you really have to do extra things to make that engagement. And a lot of my fellow faculty and a lot of the teachers I work with don't like to think of what they're doing as a show. But you said it is a show. You have to pop up with surprises. You have to have a reason for them to want to come back. And the comparison is, it's probably not a fair comparison, but they're watching 724, whatever, YouTube videos, TikToks, and whatever. And then when they see a face sitting halfway down in the bottom of their thing with nothing going on, it just doesn't engage the audience beyond the ultimate engagement, which Lux has, where we're talking back and forth. We're not only engaged because we want to say is that. I like that monochrome head, by the way, that came in, but that's beside the point. But, get them engaged through seeing things, but then also get them engaged interactively.
Yeah.
And I think, go ahead.
So I just about to comment on Martin's layouts on things. It just reminded me of the first time I saw one of those. Neil, you probably remember when you and Martin showed me something Martin had created with, took the Streamer Live map and change the
Right.
water to green, put that in chroma,
Right.
green keyed that out, and then put an aquarium in the back, and you had sharks and fishes swimming in the water. And I took a
Right.
video of that and showed it to our team, and everyone was just blown away saying, how did this happen? And I said, I met these two magicians, and what Tatiana mentioned also, right? Curiosity, novelty, that dopamine hit from it. I mean, I was trying to convince our team to double down on our green screen features, and is that me or oops? And
Yeah, we
and
can hear you.
and I couldn't convince them as much as that single video that you folks created did, because it was like, hey, these possibilities are now opened up. So I just remembered one of the first interactions we had. But back to you, Neil.
No, I was just going to say that what we're trying to do for the customers is typically they're trying to run either town halls or some sort of workshop or some sort of promotional material, and there's a lot of similar looking things out there, a similar looking Zoom call, whatever it might be, and we are bringing everybody in on Zoom like we're doing today, and it's just a different way of presenting the material, making it more punchy, making it more interactive. We use Streamlive as part of that process as well to engage the audience. So it's all about just trying to be a little bit different out there, because there is a lot of stuff that people are posting, very highly polished, engaging material out there, and there has to be a way for the customers that we're working with to stand out and differentiate themselves. And all those graphics that you were seeing that Martin's bringing in was actually part of the company that we're working with. They have designed all those themselves for that reason as well. They are a service now company, and they're doing specific workflows within the industry. And the IT industry has its own sort of quirks and things. And they wanted to differentiate themselves and look different from other companies that are doing similar type of work. So again, if it's something that we can help people with, and really the idea behind what we're doing is also just allowing people to present what they want to present without thinking about the tech, without thinking about how to pull all this together. Just come on a Zoom call, guys. As long as you're lighting and we can hear you and you look pretty good and you've got your presentation, we can do the rest. And that was the plan behind the talkit.tech that Martin set up. And Martin's done all of the graphics and all the workflows, and I'm the button pusher in the background. So that's my workflow, just to know where I land within this partnership that we're doing right now.
And I want to stress one thing you alluded to and mentioned briefly, but I think people might have missed out on this thing. For all of us on this call, what you're seeing here that's being produced by Martin's graphics and what Martin and Neil have done and pushing it through Restream. As far as Saeed, John, even Martin and Neil and me have done, we just joined a regular Zoom call. So we clicked on a Zoom link that is no different from any other Zoom link. I'm on Zoom. I'm not doing anything else. Somebody else is doing the magic. And that's I think what you were alluding to, Neil, when you said that people just need to land up in a Zoom call, right? So I don't think everyone realizes that this is just a Zoom call, actually.
I also put on my hoodie, so it was not just showing up. Just to be clear, I put effort into showing up.
I had to change my shirt. I mean, this is a high-tech group here that has taste.
We love the plaid shirt, just saying, but this shirt looks cool too. And Said, since you brought up the word showing up, I mean, I'd love to talk also, the time we have available about upcoming events where people can show up. And I know that the way a lot of people show up is by signing on Luma events. I keep getting confused by Luma a lot of times, so I'm looking forward to your workshop, but I don't want to steal your thunder. You got to share more about the workshop that's coming up. I know you got a couple coming up. I know Neil has something coming up in September, and I've been threatening to create one at some point in time. But Said, tell us about what's coming up this month.
You mentioned Luma. The irony of this, sometimes I just can giggle about myself. So I set up an event in Luma that's about showing people how to use Luma. So it's very meta. I literally did it for the joke. But I remember, I think at least you, Neil, I think you joined one in the past, maybe last year, and you are using it, right, for your events. So for everyone who is interested in setting up events, it's not about the live streaming part, it's about setting up that people can sign up and pay for it or join for free, get reminders. You can send out stuff like blasts and all the other things. Feel free, literally, to join me in one of those. It's one of these free sessions I like to do because I like to share like all the cool tools I know about, and somebody showed me for free, so I'm paying it forward. It's a really awesome tool that I'm using for so long, and especially since you guys know my favorite F word is free, so there's nothing to lose, and there is that, and also some of my favorite topics. I will have something about the Stream Deck coming up. Everything is next week, so it's like Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I don't know which one is when, but it's in that week. One about the Stream Deck, so for everyone who has like a Stream Deck that's collecting dust and got it as a gift someday, or I will use this but never unbox it until until the live training. I'm looking at you, Lux, right? This is your chance to just get started, understanding how it works, and from there on, everything else is just your own creativity and tinkering around. And of course, my other favorite tool, which is Miro, where I like to do it's not really onboarding in Miro. I have a different approach. I show people how to create games in Miro with the features that are given. Right? We know there is different features. If you know how to combine them creatively, you can create a buzzword really engaging, like Miro boards and meetings, rather than let's everybody grab a sticky note. It drives me crazy when I hear this, because there is so much more to do with these tools than just using sticky notes and then closing it until the next meeting. So these are at least the three things that are coming up on September 8th starts my next virtual facilitation masterclass, where I show people how to use all the magic for live streaming and for online meetings using OBS and the Stream Deck, which is like my big project I do like every quarter or so. So this was my month.
I hope you're sharing the link site.
Yeah, I've shared the
don't
links.
know.
I've posted on. I've posted them on a few channels already. So I posted on LinkedIn, your and
Thanks a
mine.
lot.
So yeah, no problem.
Yeah, Neil was just bragging about how good he is at pushing buttons. I was just trusting him that he pushes the right button at the right time, and he did. Thanks a lot. Yeah.
No.
See, but that's exactly what you just a quick note. Exactly what you said before. I trust Neil and Martin. I know they know exactly what to do when. I don't have to tell them, please share, please do. They know when the keyword drops and when to do which thing, so I can just focus on talking and connecting. So yeah, thanks a lot.
No problem.
And great point on the live thing side, because I've signed up for your Luma class. I remember about a year back we did something wrong on Luma, and you were kind enough to give me some suggestions on how to improve it. So signed up for that. I'm going to sign up for the Stream Deck thing as well, the schedule permitting, because I just realized I attended your session earlier. I did a lot with Stream Deck then, and then I did it for some time, and then it kind of gathered dust, and I said I'm going to go back to that recording. But back to a point on async, I never did. I never went back to the recording. I think there's something about the energy of being in a live room and doing it at that point, which is very difficult to replicate. So sign me up for that. And Miro as well, because I'm in Texas next month. And one of the things I want to do when I'm there in Austin is to try and meet some folks in Miro. And if I do manage that, I want to show myself as more knowledgeable in Miro than I actually am. So that's a good way to do it. So thank you for all three.
Thanks
I
a lot.
have to
You're
say I
always welcome.
joined I did join Said's Luma course originally last year, and did change the way that I set up my events. And I hadn't even heard about it before, and I couldn't believe it was free, and two, just the ease of setting it up. And Said was kind enough to help out with a few things as well. Then I joined Said's Stream Deck course, and I use Stream Decks all the time, but there's always something that you learn from these, even if you use them day in, day out. And Said was very practical. He was working through, I'm not going to steal and tell everybody what you do on the thing, but it was a very practical exercise, which was really good to get people actually to use the tool. So, get your Stream Decks out, get working on it, and actually do something with it. And I think it's really beneficial if, as Said mentioned, if you've just got this thing on the shelf, then you can start to use it. And, choosing the Stream Deck is probably the biggest choice a lot of people have as well. So,
I think so.
Yeah, if I may, I just want to. So thanks a lot for the kind words. But this is a general thing, I think, for all of us as we are here. There is always a difference between, there is a tool, whichever tool you're using. Let's say there's ECAM or there's any, and I can just Google stuff or I can go on YouTube. But there's a difference between just getting a tutorial that shows you features step by step or having lived experience. I mean, the same for you. It's about the creativity. It's about the things that you already broke and fixed somehow, or you created by yourself, but like workarounds nobody thought about. And I think that makes a difference. Just knowing where all the buttons and features are will not bring you as far as someone actually showing, oh, this is how you can use it for your live stream, let's say, or for your online session, or for whatever you are doing. There's a huge difference between just knowing the features by themselves and then, okay, but how can I apply this to things that I do? And yeah.
Totally. I mean, the last Stream Deck workshop I did with you is when I opened it out of the box. This is the one where I start dusting it off and actually making more use of it. Hey, but there was a question from Talia that it's up for anyone. But Martin, since you have so much of a point of view on vertical versus horizontal, I mean, what do you think of this? You talk a lot about going vertical and small format streams and everything.
So, Talia's saying that, and quite rightly, there's not necessarily a lot of space on a mobile device to put everything on the screen. I think there's more space than you might imagine. You know, people watch soccer and movies and things like that on their screen. They manage their bank account with hundreds of different elements of text on the screen. There's a bit more room than you think. Now, had this been my stream, we'd have streamed it vertically as well. Because I have the option to put painted canvas, if you want to put it that way, completely different in vertical than in our horizontal mode. So I can change those round and change the size and the shape of all of the placeholders for all the cameras. And if I want a big comments area, then I can have a big comments area. I just paint that onto the canvas in the vertical element. You will see us repurposing some content occasionally on LinkedIn from this stream. When you're seeing the repurposed content in vertical format, that's just a vertical recording. We haven't done anything with AI or anything clever in terms of repurposing that content. Literally, it's been clipped directly from the vertical video. LinkedIn does some weird stuff. If you watch LinkedIn live on your phone, it looks terrible on vertical format. When the LinkedIn live is finished, if somebody has streamed in vertical, and I stress that if they've streamed in vertical, then you go back and watch it on your phone, it looks fantastic. It looks really good. So I think you can do more than you would possibly imagine utilizing the screen space. But that leads me nicely on to teeing up Neil to talk about an application that he's been building at the moment, which also focuses on bringing in text and lightening up your screen to the point that it looks wonderful.
Thanks, Martin. So yeah, I've been doing a few things with apps recently, just trying to see what's possible. And also, typically when I do build things, it's out of a necessity. Either I've identified something that I want to try and fix, or I like to use in my live productions, and I'm thinking, well, this could be useful for other people. So the last one I've just been working on, which is up and running at the moment, is the live captions. So there's free live caption tools out there at the moment, and they put a little black bar on there, and the idea behind those captions is that as you're speaking, the voice will be interpreted, and then you'll get these live captions coming up on your screen. But it's not very pretty, and it doesn't work for multiple speakers. So I created this live caption software that basically takes the audio from your live stream, and if you want to actually visually show what you're saying on the screen for people who are maybe watching your live stream without sound, people who are on the train and things like that, maybe you're at work, whatever the situation is, and for people who are hard of hearing as well, then there's a good way to sort of interact and keep going and using and watching your live stream by having some live captions. So I built this tool that basically takes the live stream that we're doing now, and we'll basically be able to put the live captions on the bottom, different styling, different visualizations. We've got trigger words. We've got all kinds of fun things on there. And also we'll take up to 4 guests. So we've got 4 guests on the show, for example. We can bring them in using voice prints, which means it will identify each person as they're speaking and give them a different color, different font, different style, which just keeps it a little bit more interactive. So again, with that live streaming element, it helps people sort of visualize what people are saying instead of just hearing us. And I think you had something that you wanted to show, Martin, just for yourself.
Yeah, just before we started, I thought, I wonder if I can mock something up. So bear in mind, this will just be me speaking rather than all the different guests speaking. If they were all speaking, they would have a different colour and font and things appearing. But let's just flick to that screen. So I've now turned on the content to follow me, my live captions, and to see what that would look like. Now I can change the size and the shape and the position of these, and Talia, if you go back and have a look at this on the vertical content, you will see that I have created a space at the bottom of the vertical screen which also mirrors to some degree what is the content that's appearing below me here. Now I could have that in different colours or neon or things like that, and the way that Neil's configured it, if there were 2 of us on the screen, then on the other side of the screen over there, then maybe Neil's comments are popping up in a different colour. There's also the ability to put in trigger words like stream alive, like, I don't know, frog, or plane. Yes, there's the plane.
Cool.
Or bingo,
Nice.
etc. Now those can be changed, the size and the shape of them on the screen. I can just expand things and move them around and crop them if I want. Neil will have to explain a little bit more about the restrictions on doing things. I didn't seem to be able to change the effect. When I bring in a PNG, I wanted to have different effects on different PNGs, but it seems to apply them to everything. But that could well be user error. So when I say plane, it's got the same.
Yeah, it does at the
same
moment,
skills.
until I can fix that and change it for you. So, but these are all working on ideas and things like that. But that's basically what I've been working on. And so thanks so much for sharing, Martin. I had one last thing as well, Lux, if I may, because I know we're 2 minutes to the
Please.
thing. Real quick, so in September, around September the 14th, my colleagues at the Creative Amplifiers team I've been working with for a while, that's Mark Taylor and Lisa Marie Todd, we're just hosting a workshop for 6 people. It's a 6-week cohort. It's a paid for thing, but what we're trying to do is take you from your inception. So if you've got an idea about a show, it could be live, it could be a podcast, it could be recorded, taking you all the way through to getting your show published and ready. Just using the workflows and things that we've done when we built our show with guests back in the day. So if you're interested in that, I've just put the link in the chat. Sign up if you want, and we'll help you get from your inception all the way to your live show.
Which reminds me, I think I should put it in the Streamer Live newsletter too, because some of these are, and some of the stuff that Saeed is doing as well. We should have a newsletter later this week, so I'll put out the links. If I need help, I'll reach out to you, because a lot of our community are talking about things like this. They're their own shows. They've got Dusty stream decks as well, and yes, they send out a lot of invites to Lumas and things. But a lot of these conversations catalyze stuff, right? Like, because 2 weeks ago, Neil, you were showing us a first cut of what Martin demonstrated, and after that, I remember John, who's retired, talking a lot about having a lot of fun with that too, right? So it's just amazing where the directions that these things take,
Well, the old becomes new again. I was thinking, just saying there's a show called You Bet Your Life, which was Groucho Marx. And at the beginning, they had the magic word and a duck would fly down. And the audience would know it, but the contestants wouldn't know it. And if they said the magic word, duck flew down and they won $50. 2 things. That was in the 1950s, and $50 was real money. But it was a really cute little thing. But I don't want to lose what Martin talked about in terms of real estate, in terms of the difference between when we have the 16 by 9 vertical versus horizontal. That really is a critical thing to think about. And just like with the text that we have here, or whether it's PowerPoints, we've had to think about this. People design PowerPoints that had 8, paragraphs on it. They would print it out and hand it to people. So when people would have a printout, they could say, yeah, this PowerPoint I could read because it's really just a text paper. But when you put it on the screen with lower resolution, you had to reduce the amount of text. And then you change the way you do it. I'm old school. I was, television should be this way. And then all once I realized I do hold my phone this way. And now that means we have to think about a lot of different things. And I think, Martin, I'm really impressed with how you were using Neil's tool and being able to redesign where you want to focus your attention. Whether it's a big screen or a little screen, you attempt to want to draw people's eyes to what you want them to see. And you've done that with your special effects coming in. In a classroom, you might draw the attention by, throwing an eraser at somebody and they all look in that direction. Not that I ever did that in class. But I think you can do those sorts of things by how you decide where you're going to put things on the screen, and particularly even that popping up. There's a wonderful video that shows people playing basketball, and a gorilla walks through. And then they ask people who saw it, and the majority of people don't see the gorilla because you sort of, it wasn't expected, so you don't see it. So you're able to play on that psychology. There may be people who don't even know you have some different animals on there, or that this one's color and that one's monochrome. So I think we should think of ourselves as visual artists in addition to visual presenters.
I think that's a good way to close the show, guys, because we're a few minutes over
last
already.
Last famous words. Martin, I just love how you managed to put the visuals from the trigger words exactly on my face. You could have put them anywhere, but you made a decision.
I don't know why every week you think that's accidental.
No, I don't. I just wanted to mention it, so thanks a lot for that.
I want to know where the dogs are in the background. I keep hearing dogs or at my house.
Dogs.
Whose dogs?
Who's being attacked by dogs?
Whose dogs are they?
Nope.
No?
That's interesting. It's not
They're in
my side.
hyperspace.
Okay.
Right. I think. Thank you everybody for joining. Thank you Talia and Tatiana for dropping your comments in, and Tatiana, we'll see you next week. But more or less, I think it's just for us to wave goodbye and do our peeking in from the sides intro stroke outro thing again.